All right, time now for the men's final. Let's head back over to Rob Snook, Mike Walker.
Thanks, Andy. Well, this sport is developing in every part of Canada, but nowhere is it as evolved than it is in Montreal. We've got two Montreal teams here in the final, the Red Light and the Red Devils.
Yeah, results speak for themselves. Last year we had 3 Quebec-based teams into the quarterfinals. This year we had 3 Quebec-based teams into the quarterfinals, and the number 1 and number 2 seed from Montreal are going toe-to-toe in the men's final, and no surprise there.
Let's look at the Montreal Red Devils team. They'll be wearing the whites. Their captain is Simon Leblanc. We talked to him this morning. He talked about the fact that he thinks playing in this environment might actually help their team because they're a real ball control team. Their goaltender, we know, is going to be tested a lot by this skillful Red Light team. Mitya Moissaron, keep an eye on him.
Absolutely, and on the Montreal Red Light side of things, they are the undefeated returning national champions, and their captain is Nelson Vargas Diaz, and he is the heart and soul of this club. He has been their leader last year. He has been their leader again this year, and their goaltender is Samuel Beauchamp. He was the champion for this club a year ago, and he's also back looking to earn a second straight play-on national championship, this time here in Yarmouth. So Montreal Red Light up against the undefeated Montreal Red Devil in a great final coming up.
Welcome back to Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. On the men's championship final for the National Street Hockey Championship, there's only been one two-time winner, Vancouver Ballhogs in 2009-2010. Today, the Montreal Red Light looking to become the second team to accomplish that feat. To the gentleman with the call, Rob Snook, Mike Walker.
Thanks, Andy. These two teams have come a long way, but they're very familiar with each other. The Montreal Red Light in red, the Montreal Red Devils in white. We are underway for the men's title, and remember, a $40,000 prize. Kuzmarski with a good chance, or at least Francis Kais.
Well, and if you want to see skill, these are the two ball hockey teams you want to watch.
And here we go! And a goal right off the bat for Jeremy Brunet. It's 1-0 for the Red Light.
That's some incredible stick handling, in close, in tight, going to the backhand for the opening goal in this national championship game, and what a big start.
These two teams are very familiar with each other. Some actually play together in the ball hockey season. And we see them wearing helmets here. That is mandatory in Quebec. Unlike in other leagues around the country.
Sometimes you don't mess with what's familiar, and the voice chose to keep them on.
So often in this tournament, we've seen the team in red, the Montreal Red Light, score first, and that seems to get them rolling in the way they want, be able to relax. And their skill level is just off the charts. They're a little bigger team, I think, too, Mike.
They've got the size and they've got the unbelievably quick releases. They scored in the neighborhood of 25 goals more than any other team in this tournament.
Yannick Labonte, you see him there, just a fierce battle, and he's playing with some significant injuries.
Yeah, Labonte earlier this summer tore both his ACL and his MCL in the same knee and has been rehabbing it all summer and is somehow walking, never mind playing in a national championship game.
I asked him earlier this morning, how's it feel? And he just shrugged and said, oh, fine.
Well, if you want to talk injuries, Matthew Ferron for the Red Devil as well. Took a high stick on the second day of this tournament, then also got a ball hit the same eye yesterday. and that thing is swollen shut. You may get a look at it a little later on in this game, but he cannot see it all out of his right eye, but is continuing to play on.
Labonte, we saw him score 6 goals in a game yesterday, and he just scores them with such precision. He gets the ball, and it's immediately off his stick.
Again, it's non-contact, sort of.
Flipped down by Ghilarducci. There he is again, Carl Ghilarducci. In for the captain, Nelson Vargas Diaz. Chris Creeder lives in Toronto. Works the ball for Steve Prue. Lots of movement. Vargas Diaz, captain in that team last year that won the championship. Worked in front, bouncing ball just to the side of the net. Kevin Kuzmarski, the youngest player on the team at age 21, just couldn't quite tip it in.
Well, if not for the big blocker save, this would have been a 2-0 game in a hurry.
11:25 remaining.
Being very careful. Samuel Beauchamp, the goaltender for the Red Light.
Crowd, we need to hear it from these Montreal teams. Trying to keep making that noise. This is the national final of the Street Hockey Championship.
Labonte, great skill in front for Brunet, and he just missed.
Canada is watching us right now.
Brunet all the way back for Yannick Jomp.
Oh, shot by Red Light there. That was Yannick Jomp.
Jomp stick handles, and in the net, Labonte with his team up 2-0.
A knee doesn't seem to be an issue at all. And a man widely regarded as the top ball hockey player in the country right now comes through with the 2-0 marker.
Carl Ghilarducci, a tripping call, and so we'll see our first penalty shot of the game as the Red Devils will get a chance to get on the board.
You're not going to get many opportunities against this Red Light team, and here's a golden one here.
Francis Hayes. He'll be the shooter.
Tice with a shot over top of the net.
You don't often see the leading scorer on this team miss the net, but that was the case there, and an opportunity goes by the wayside for Red Devils.
Mike, we don't see a lot of deking on breakaways in the penalty shots in the men's game. You see it a little bit more in the women's game.
Well, I think the biggest thing is you don't want to risk mishandling the ball. The ball can hop and skip very easily, and you're better off to take your chances with a well-played shot.
Simon LeBlanc, the captain for the Red Devils, just calmly gives it back to Creeder. What a rocket that was.
Ghilarducci behind his own goal for Red Light. 9:15 remaining.
Vargas Diaz just flips it down. His team's already leading 2-0. Under these spectacular conditions here in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, they almost got to cheer on some of their a home team with a hometown flavor, the St. John's Bears.
Yeah, they made it all the way to the semifinal, but then ran into this very tough Red Devils team who knocked them off in a 3-2 in a dramatic shootout in front of hundreds of fans on Main Street in downtown Yarmouth. And the reason they were such big fans of a team from St. John's, well, several of those guys played for the Yarmouth Mariners, the junior A team in town. And one thing we've learned this week, Rob, is they love the Yarmouth Mariners here on the South Shore.
PA announcer a little while ago asked the fans to cheer for their favorite NHL teams, and each team got a little cheer, and then the Yarmouth Mariners team got the huge cheer.
Let's go Montreal!
Jump. Labonte with a shot that just missed. So still that 2-0 lead for the Montreal Red Light.
Just about 8 minutes to go here in the first half of this game.
Here's a big steal. Brunet.
There's a hot shot. The save is made by Red Devil goalie Moiseron.
I keep thinking there's just a little bit of a size difference. It's sort of like me playing with my big brother out here. The red light just a little bigger than the Red Devils.
And it's by committee, just an inch or two here and there, and it can make a big difference when you get out on the street.
It's saved by Samuel Beauchamp.
In fact, the smallest player on this red light team is their captain, Nelson Vargas Diaz, by a long shot, but he's also one of their most talented, really shifting, really quick out there. You can see him in the blue helmet.
And there he almost goes in and makes a nice dodge on the goaltender, Mathieu Moisseron. So it's a 2-0 lead for the Montreal Red Light over the Montreal Red Devils here from the Lobster Rock Wharf in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia.
It's an all-Montreal affair here. Describe what it's like out there.
It's a great atmosphere here. A lot of people came out to see. I think it's a good start for us. Hopefully, after the break, we could continue on the same momentum as we're on now.
I know you're completely focused, but back home, your wife is about 2 weeks away from expecting your firstborn. What do you want to say to her?
Well, I want to just say I love her, and I'm playing this game in honor for her and my future little girl.
All right, good luck out there.
Thank you.
His wife Pamela back home, and he said to us he's ready to go, Mike. If the time came yesterday, he would have jumped on the first flight.
I'm sure his teammates a little concerned that their captain might be jet-setting back home and they'd have to play this big game without him, but they didn't even want to think about this national championship game until they got through the semifinals. Well, now they're in the heat of it and they have a 2-0 lead.
Not anymore! A goal for the Red Devils and a big one for Francis Keiss.
Well, he's the leading scorer for this team through the round robin in the playoffs, and he delivers here at a key point in this first half.
As you can tell, this is going to be a close game.
Yannick Jean.
Red light bringing in. There was a shot.
Vargas Diaz. Jean.
Gets it back.
They shoot it so hard, and when we were standing behind the net for some of the warm-ups, and the whole place was shaking.
Well, and you can always hear the power of the shot by it hitting the end boards and then the crowd's reaction as well. They'll tell you if it was a cannon or not.
Gianluca, the big 6'3". Normally he plays on the defensive side of things, but he's in behind the opposition net. Trying to feed it out to Labonte. Back comes the 2-on-1, off the goalpost. Simon LeBlanc, the captain. Referee Carl Friday dodges out of the way.
LeBlanc is the oldest player in this game, 35 years old, got some space down the wing and put it right off the upright, that close to a tie game.
And Mike, we got the sense talking with Simon LeBlanc earlier, who is the captain of the Red Devils, that he was really looking forward to this environment with the boards higher than they were on the street. He thought that it really favored their team.
Well, both of these teams are very, very accomplished indoor ball hockey players. In fact, the opposition he's facing here, Red Light, they're the two-time Canadian national champions, American champions. So they're used to having some boards to play off of. You don't get that up on Main Street where you just have the curb to play the bounces with. Now they can really use their breakouts to their advantage.
Labonte, he can score from anywhere. Creeder. Brunet, another one of those players who can and will score from anywhere. Creeder, Barrett. Samuel Beauchamp will just pounce right on the ball, right in front of the play-on side.
One thing the fans in Yarmouth have experienced this week, and many of you at home are experiencing now, is the incredible pace that these guys play with, especially when you get down to the top teams in the country. They can go the length of the rink in a heartbeat and make a big difference in a game and score a big goal in a heartbeat as well.
Kuzmarski's first attempt is blocked. Youngest player on the red light, he's just 21. Ghilarducci, he's busy in his spare time. He's studying electrical engineering. Here's a chance. Red Devils. Nice save by Samuel Beauchamp.
Made the first save and then had to reach back to the post to make sure they didn't tuck the rebound in.
Labonte got someone loose out front. Trying to feed it to Vargas Diaz. Labonte. Nice save. Mitya Moissara, we knew he'd be busy. And especially when Labonte's out. He's out now.
Well, with two teams so familiar with each other, we weren't sure how much heated competition we were going to get. A lot of these guys are friends back in Montreal and away from the game. We thought maybe it'd be a little more friendly competition. That's starting to fall by the wayside as the $40,000 starts to come into the mindset.
All of a sudden they start thinking, what if, what if? Remember the red light team told us they're going to donate 10,000 of the 40 if they win to charity.
Well, we see a lot of teams working for charity causes here at Play On, and nice to see that too.
Kuzmarski blocked. Nice play by Chris Creeder. Prue. So Steve Prue, really the only player we saw with a shield on. I've got to think there's an eye injury or something. Nice poke check by Beauchamp. Brunet.
1:45 left to go in the first half. It's a 2-1 Montreal red light advantage.
Saw Chris Creeder blocking that shot out of play. He actually won the national championship with red light last year and has switched allegiances to some extent to join Red Devils. He and Matthew Ferron, national champions last year, and now playing for the other side, looking for a second straight.
Nice steal by Vargas Diaz to Labonte. Ghilarducci. There's a lot of bragging rights here. I mean, they know each other well. They do play together. Here's a chance. Vargas Diaz. What a nice little save by Moissara. We've seen these two teams, though, generally very disciplined through the tournament.
Well, and it can make such a difference, as we mentioned in the opening. A penalty is an instant penalty shot, and when it's one-on-one, you don't want to leave your goaltender in that position too often.
1-goal game, final minute. Carl Ghilarducci, nice play, just trying to stay out of the reach of Matthew Ferron. Ferron's playing with an injury of his own, and Ghilarducci colliding with Simon LeBlanc. I think it was accidental. Look at that, a howitzer of a shot by Jeremy Brunet.
That's the second of the game from Brunet, and it was from just about center. He absolutely unloaded, picked the corner. What a great shot, and that's a 2-goal lead again.
So the two teams from Montreal in a pretty fierce battle. The red light with a 3-1 lead on the Red Devils. Lots more to come from the Hockey Night in Canada. Play On 4-on-4 National Championships from Yarmouth.
And we're just about ready to start.
Welcome back to Lobster Rock Wharf. Two teams from Montreal in the final. No such thing as friendliness, guys. Code word, animosity. Back to the gentleman with the call, Rob Snoot, Mike Walker.
I thought you were directing the animosity towards us, Andy. No, we're all friends. But these two teams are battling for the Redwood Cup, which is the heaviest trophy I have ever seen And right now, the team in red, the Montreal Red Light, with a 3-1 lead over the Montreal Red Devils.
Well, watch for the Red Devils to try and make a push here early in the second half to get back within one. They want to keep it close late and see if they can steal one here.
Yannick Jump, another big man. Heavy collision in behind the net. Red Light, a bigger team. Jump in front. Brunet almost had a hat trick.
Nice save by Moiseron there.
Barrett was trying to go to the net. Now Labonte shakes off his checker. Vargas Diaz. Labonte to the net, but he can't squeak it past. Wants it off.
Labonte is with it. Labonte is spin move. Labonte still battling with
Ferron. Matthew Ferron got hit in the eye, Mike, and we looked at it earlier, and it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, no depth perception for him. He's working with one eye here in this men's final game, that's for sure.
13:38 remaining in the second half. 3-1 for Red Light.
Over 5,300 teams this year in the battle for the Redwood Cup. Just 2 remain, and here they are.
Well, not only that, but both of these teams are undefeated here at the National Championship Tournament through the round robin, through the single elimination playoffs.
Creeder scores from half, and we've got a 1-goal game.
And it sure looks like both of these teams are intent on remaining undefeated on their way to a national title.
Nelson Vargas Diaz, the soon-to-be father. Ghilarducci, Kuzmarski rather, that one went wide. And then just lands on the back of the net. The netting, all of those things sometimes come into play. But we're not seeing the ball go out of play nearly as often as we did when it was on the street.
Montreal! 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 Montreal!
Here's Creeder with a chance to tie it to the side of the net for LeBlanc. He almost did. Creeder again for LeBlanc. Ghilarducci, Vargas Diaz. Little slip there for Vargas Diaz. Labonte, again Labonte. Almost one-handed it in.
Well, as this game continues and the time winds down, keep your eye on Mattia Moiseron, who is the Red Devil goalie in white. He was outstanding in their semifinal matchup against St. John's. In fact, he was the difference in that game, stopping 3 of 4 penalty shots and then a perfect 3 for 3 in the shootout as well. He was the difference maker for the Red Devils, and he'll probably have to be again here in the finals.
There we see the eye of Matthew Barrett, Matthew Ferron rather.
We can see him. I don't think he can see us.
Schultz. Ferron. Just a reminder, he's not the one wearing the visor, as we saw on that shot. Brunet.
So you hear that slap shot ring off the end boards, you get an idea of how hard these guys are letting that go. That's not a hockey puck. That's a classic street hockey ball with a big thud off the end wall.
And it's warm. They're usually softer when it's warm. Heiss with a chance, stopped by Samuel Beauchamp.
A little bit of pushing and shoving now, a little bit of frustration growing from both sides, I think. In a dead even game, still 3-2 as far as the Red Light are concerned.
Vargas Diaz tries a little wraparound, gets it back again. Great wheels for Nelson Vargas Diaz. Creeder chops. Still that 1-goal gap. Referee Carl Friday standing nearby, just letting all this physical play go. Beauchamp just comes out, calmly picks it up.
Well, especially with Simone LeBlanc, the captain of the opposition, charging toward him.
Yannick Jump. In for Brunet. Labonte. Couldn't thread the needle on that pass.
Red Devils in with it.
Farrell.
Long shot by Matthew Barrett. Where did that even go?
That one's almost in the ocean.
We're not far off it here at Yarmouth. Lobster Rock Wharf. What an incredible setting. What an incredible crowd.
Matthew Barrett just missed. Steve Prue for Perron. Referees letting just about everything go. I almost think the referees are a little bit surprised. They know how well these guys all know each other, and it's a little more physical, I think, than, well, and we thought.
Well, you mentioned Carl Friday, our other officials, Laura Morrison. Both of them have been working all weekend. Just part of the huge crew of volunteers that make this event possible every year.
Vargas Diaz, he knows that Brunet's in front lurking. If he can get him a pass. Kevin Kuzmarski comes in to help out. All four players gather in the corner. Someone yells car and they all clear out.
Both sides making a wholesale change here as well.
Ghilarducci using that big frame. Back to Kuzmarski. Just like that. Flips up and out of play.
8:15 left in the second half of this one, and still just a one-goal margin between these two teams, and we're not surprised at all.
And just about every time you say that, Mike, you give us a score, it changes. Vargas Diaz has a little wrap around. Moissaron holding on.
7:50 left to go.
Not afraid to drop the goal stick there and reach out with the blocker hand, anything to freeze the play.
Ghilarducci trying to take away from Simon LeBlanc. The referees don't mind the hand off the stick and the little push. This is a chance for Vargas Diaz, but he just couldn't turn the corner. Defensive play by Chris Creeder.
Big number 2, Chris Creeder after it. Going back on ahead.
Red Devils pressing, looking for the equalizer.
Rule in the corner, he lost the ball. Jonf will take it to red light.
Jonf,
7 minutes remaining.
Labonte, Brunet. That's the kind of passing we've been watching them all weekend. From what seems like no chance to a big chance, and it's a one-goal lead for the Montreal Red Light over the Red Devils here at the National Championship from Lobster Rock Wharf in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia.
We keep the hockey going. 7 p.m. Eastern, we have the final preseason game between Detroit at Toronto. That is on Hockey Night in Canada. But right now we are in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, trying to decide who's going to win the men's final in the National Street Hockey Championship. And sure, they're competing for money. The men win $40,000, but it's also about that cup. The Redwood Cup. It comes in at 63 pounds. That's more than what the Stanley Cup weighs. And is also named after founder Scott Hill's road that he grew up on, Redwood Road. And also the 5 silver sticks that surround it, sterling silver. They represent the players that play on the team, the 4 out front and the goalie. That is what these guys are trying to win. Rob.
It is, as we said, and I didn't realize the weight of it, 63. I knew it was heavy, and you could see the players struggling with it at the end of last year when the event was in Niagara Falls,
right.
But 63 pounds.
Yeah, depending on how long this game goes and how tired these boys get, that's a whole nother task altogether to lift that trophy above their heads.
Mike, when you played street hockey as a kid, did you guys make a trophy that you would play for?
There was a few tinfoil trophies now and then. I think everybody's done that at one point or another in their lives.
Great action between these two Montreal teams. The captain of the Montreal Red Light, Nelson Vargas Diaz. Chris Creeder takes him heavily into the boards. There's lots of pushing and shoving, but there's no after the whistle pushing and anything going on, it seems.
And it's remarkable because, you know what, throughout this tournament, throughout the regional qualifiers and the national championships, that after the whistle stuff is actually quite rare. We see it occasionally, but not all that often, and that's thanks in large part to our officials who keep things pretty tight.
Kevin Kuzmarski. Never a bad idea to just loft it in front and see what happens. Vargas Diaz. Ferron. With a stolen from him. No, back is Vargas Diaz. He thought he saw a hole up high on the blocker side. Nice save by Mitya Wasseron. Ilarducci without the stick.
5 minutes remaining.
Now heads to the bench. Nice job, Sans the Lumber. Kuzmarski. Labonte. Brunet.
Neither team giving up much here, positionally or otherwise. Not much space.
Another good save by Wasseron.
Behind the goal.
Kuzmarski. Labonte.
Labonte still has it.
Oh, he tries the little razzle-dazzle. If you can't do that in street hockey, when can you do it?
That's right. I think he actually caught the goaltender in the side of the mask with his stick as well. He'll shake that off and take a moment. But if you're going to try a fancy goal, you might as well try it on a national stage.
Trophy next to Redwood Cup. It's in. It's on the Lobster Rock North.
Red Devils finally get the ball away from that tandem of Brunet and Labonte. They are almost unstoppable.
Weighs over 60
Chris Creeder scored the second goal. Now he's almost caught Samuel Beauchamp off guard, but he makes a nice alert save.
Red Devil needing a goal to tie, but red light in there. A long shot fired wide by Brunet. Brunet almost got that in front. They'll go back for it. He has a long shot.
All the offense has come from that tandem indeed. Jeremy Brunet, a pair in this game, Labonte with one. And there you see what's on the line, the Redwood Cup being carried rinkside here on Lobster Rock Wharf in Yarmouth.
Took two of them to carry it.
I think they even had the white gloves on.
They did. Carl Ghilarducci. He's playing for a charity that relates to heart disease. When he was 10 years old, his 16-year-old brother passed away, and Carl told me that it really drew his family together, and they have always continued to support the charities. In fact, he was tested himself this summer just to make sure that he was not affected, and indeed he was not.
And as you mentioned earlier, $5,000 of that $40,000 prize is slated for that charity if Montreal Red Light can hold on to this slim 3-2 lead.
It is slim, indeed. Ghilarducci is roughed up by Creeder. Chris Creeder taking no prisoners. Matthew Ferron. He is being hounded by Brunet, who's got a couple goals already. And Mike, I don't think we've said this yet, but Yannick Labonte hasn't scored yet in this game.
Well, the goaltenders to the bench for Montreal Red Devil. They're pulling out all the stops with 1:50 to play, but this came out of play.
Right back into the net. Running is Moissaron. And now they're going to call a timeout.
Good chance to talk things over here with just 99 seconds to go in a one-goal game and the Redwood Cup on the line. Doesn't get much better than this here in Yarmouth especially.
The Redwood Cup just outside the boards to my left here. What an incredible trophy.
Mike, 17 different communities expressed an interest in holding this event. But Yarmouth stood above the rest. And boy, other communities now, this is the benchmark.
And it's a tough one to match. They had the support of the province of Nova Scotia, some support from the federal government, and an overwhelming support from the community here in Yarmouth. I would say a pretty comfortable 1,500, 2,000 people surrounding the rink for this championship game, and waiting to see who the champion will be in this great battle of undefeated teams in the Battle of Montreal.
The Montreal Red Devils in white. The Montreal Red Light in red. Yannick Labonte, the offensive leader for his team in the tournament. Then he kicks one up and out of play. Under 90 seconds to play now. Brunet.
125 remaining.
Labonte.
And this here will give the Red Devils possession. Out comes the goaltender, and it's 4-on-3 as they press for the tie game.
Captain LeBlanc. Tipped in front and just a scramble for it. The whistle blowing.
Beside himself is Simon LeBlanc, the captain. He couldn't believe the whistle went. It was a remarkable first save, but we still remain 3-2.
But empty net chance. Vargas Diaz. No. Great block by Matthew Ferron. Fierce battle in the corner. Sticks are flying. A national championship on the line. A big payday too, both for themselves and for their charities. The team in red, the Red Light, trying to hold on.
And 20 seconds left.
Ferron. LeBlanc. Ferron. Blocked. LeBlanc. Big save, Beauchamp, as he stops Kais.
The biggest save of his year right there. 7 seconds on the clock. And he preserves this 1-goal lead. And now we've got a few sore bodies down in front of the Red Light net.
Nelson Vargas Diaz is the one struggling to his feet.
And he had blocked a shot just a few moments before. It was a point shot attempt from the Red Devil. He took it square in the chest. You could see it hurt him when he first took it. And now he's going to need a minute to shake it off.
Mike, who's getting the ball here? Do you know?
It was frozen by Red Light, so it should be a Red Light ball with 7 seconds to work with.
The Red Devils will want to put at least two on the ball.
$40,000 in the Redwood Cup on the line right now.
And the clock now ticks down as Red Light.
Jean trying to kill it, trying to kill the time. What a mad scramble. The Montreal Red Light, the Redwood Cup champions.
Montreal Red Light. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Montreal Red Light and Montreal Red Devils. What a great Redwood Cup championship game this was. And now the trophy will be presented and a check for $40,000 to the champions, the Canadian National Street Hockey Champions.
The lowest scoring game pretty much of the tournament for the Red Light, and they squeak out a 3-2 win in the battle for the Redwood Cup against their cross-city rivals, the Montreal Red Devils.
On the handshakes at center, as you so often see in this game of hockey, it transcends to street hockey as well. Back-to-back national championships for Montreal Red Light.
In this great Canadian game. Is hockey Canada's best sport? Is hockey the best sport on this planet?
Light win the national championship, the Redwood Cup. We'll be back to wrap from Lobster Rock Wharf in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia.
Welcome back to Lobster Rock Wharf here in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. Your 2013 National Street Hockey Champions are the Montreal Red Light, the second team to win the championship 2 times in a row. And we talk a lot about the money, $40,000, but we were also talking about charities because it's very important for you guys to give back. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think, well, it's important. $40,000 is a lot of money. I think there's people that need it more than us. So we play for the love of the game. We want to give back to society and everything. We got players here that touch us personally. So we're giving back to the Rapid Foundation. It's our foundation with autistic people. And also the Les Maladies du Cœur du Québec, which is a Quebec foundation with children with heart diseases. So it's very important to us. We take it to heart and it gives us extra motivation. Remembers why we're here, why we're playing. We'll try to do good at the same time as playing the best sport we love.
Great example. That's why you're champions. Congratulations. Let's go back to Rob and Mike.
Thanks, Andy. And you had to think the Montreal Red Devils would have thought if they could shut down Mr. Levante, they might be able to win, but it didn't quite work out.
Well, it proves to you that experience matters most, and both these teams with national champions on their roster are hoisting the Redwood Cup yet again.
The Montreal Red Light, the champions. We'll be back to wrap from Yarmouth, Nova Scotia when we return.
Okay. So first up, women, you had the crowd favorite Halifax Islanders taking on the number 1 seed Niagara Fighters. This was a feisty affair, but the Niagara Fighters would pull off the victory in this one to take home the $10,000 prize. Final score 5-3, right? Final score is 5-3. Fine. All right, and then I'll say, and after that, the men were up to claim their prize. All Montreal affair. Montreal Red Devils taking on the Montreal Red Light. They are the defending champions, looking to become only the second team in this tournament to win back-to-back titles. And this was a close one, neither one giving an inch to the other. But the defending champions Red Light would go ahead, and you can see battled warriors here. They would ultimately end up winning the prize, and that is what they would win, the Redwood Cup 3-2, and a check for $40,000. $10,000 of that they have already committed to charity. No, I don't want to say that because he's going to say that. $40,000. Yeah. Carl, part of the Montreal Red Light winning team. You were with this team last year when they won it as well. Okay, because that's what I asked. Okay, I do that. Well, Ron, we couldn't have asked for a more picturesque day here on Lobster Rock Wharf in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. This is where the 2013 Hockey Night in Canada Play On National Street Hockey Championships took place. First up were the women, and you had the crowd favorite Halifax Highlanders taking on the number 1 seed Niagara Fighters. This was a feisty affair. And the Fighters, in fact, were comprised of half the team that won the championship last year. Back and forth this one went, but it would ultimately go to the favorites. Niagara wins the $10,000 prize by a total of 5-3. A lot of them banged up, broken thumbs, torn knees, you name it. And that was also the case for the men. A lot of banged up players in an all-Montreal affair. Montreal Red Devils taking on the defending champions Montreal Red Light. Red Light looking to become only the second team in this tournament to win back-to-back champions. And they were not giving an inch to each other at all. And you can see battled, hardened warriors there. That is what they're playing for, the Redwood Cup. This one would come down to the wire, and it would be Red Light winning again by a total of 3-2 and $40,000. I'm here now with Carl, part of the Montreal Red Light winning team. You were with this team last year when they won it as well. How does it feel to be back-to-back champions?
It's awesome, for sure. It's an awesome feeling. We all play for each other on that team, and to win that a second year in a row, it's just awesome feeling.
You guys are a great example of champions because you talk about playing for each other, but you're donating some of your money to charities as well. What motivated that?
We have actually, I have my brother passed away when I was 10 years old, and we're giving right now money to the Heart Foundation back in Quebec, and it's a really it's an honor for me and for us, all the team, to do that. There's also another foundation, Rapid, it's called, for Down syndrome disease. We feel that with a big check like that, we just have to get back to people that need it better than us, maybe. And we play at first. We play for the championship, and we play for that trophy for sure. The money's not bad at all, but for sure it's nice. It's nice. That's it.
Definition of champions. Congratulations, Ron. Back to you.